Hey everybody, welcome back to the Magic for Life podcast. I'm Michael Johnson, and I am so excited to share with you today's podcast. Hi, my name is Michael Johnson. I'm a ballroom dance professional, a life coach, and a peak performance expert. I'm part of a group of motivated people who are dedicated to attaining emotional mastery and unlocking our full potential. We don't believe others are responsible for how we feel. In fact, we don't believe anyone can make us feel anything. We believe in the magic of ballroom dance. It has taught us how to improve our bodies, challenge our minds, and inspire our souls. And in return, I want to share those lessons with the world. We are lifers, and this is Magic for Life. Hey everybody, Michael Johnson here. Thanks for joining me on another podcast. I've got a great couple of episodes for you coming up. I'm going to do my best to not mess up as I'm talking because I've got my daughter that's come to work with me today, and she keeps smiling and laughing and making me giggle. So if you hear me crack up laughing, that's probably why. Today we're going to talk about a little bit of modeling that I've done in some of the peak performance training that we do here at our studio and in the Magic for Life culture. And one of the persons that we've loved to model is this famous actor, Will Smith. And you probably know about him. He's been in numerous video or movies all over creation. I mean, he's amazing. He's been in a TV show. He's been a successful rapper, amongst many other things. Now, it would be really cool to have him on the podcast, but today we're just going to talk about some of his philosophies. And I want to read to you a bit of an interview. It's a long interview, so we're just going to split it up into a couple of parts. And I wanted to read it to you a little bit and talk to you a little bit about the philosophies that he's promoting and teaching. He really wants to be a great person. You can hear it and you can see it in his actions. He really wants to be able to influence the world in a positive way. And those people that look up to him as a role model, you can see that he's doing his best to try to influence in a positive way. We've taken some of the philosophies in our studio, working with professional athletes, dancers, and working on peak performance, and we've sort of inserted them and injected them into the teachings that we do. It's part of our everyday culture here at our studio, and we love it. So I felt like it was a good thing to do. If you don't read biographies, some biographies, as you remember from school and back in the day, are kind of dry and boring, but it's nice to learn about people's lives and figure out how they went about being successful. But it's also good to look back at some of these biographies and read about people that are finding success and or even their failures, to understand what we can learn from their history and from their successes. And it's great to model those things. And with my training in NLP through the years, learning to model is massively important. So I wanted to share with you this interview, and we'll do it in a couple of parts so that we don't have to try to eat the whole elephant in one bite. We can just try to go through a little bit at a time and talk about it and really try to gather what he's trying to get across. But thought we'd start with this. So I'm going to jump right in. This is all a quote that I found. Somebody took the time to write out this interview. So if it's a little bit off, I apologize. But it is the best written version of this interview that I could find. And just wanted to share it with you. So I'll jump right in, and we'll start from the top. He says, I have a great time with my life, and I want to share it. I love living. I think that it's infectious. It's something that you can't fake. Greatness is not this wonderful, esoteric, elusive, godlike feature that only the special among us will ever taste. It's something that truly exists in all of us. It's very simple. This is what I believe, and I'm willing to die for it, period. It's that simple. And that's all I need to know. So from there, you do what you need to do. I think what happens is we make this situation more complex than it has to be because we're looking for complexity. We didn't grow up with the sense that where we were was where we were gonna be. We grew up with the sense that where we were almost didn't matter because we were becoming something greater. The separation of talent and skill is one of the greatest misunderstood concepts for people who are trying to excel, who have dreams, and who want to do things. Talent you have naturally. Skill is only developed by hours and hours and hours of beating on your craft. I never really viewed myself as particularly talented. Where I excel is ridiculous, sickening work ethic. While other guys are sleeping, I'm working. While the other guy's eating, I'm working. I realized very, very young that there's no easy way around it. No matter how talented you are, your talent is going to fail you if you're not skilled. If you don't study, if you don't work really hard and dedicate yourself to being better every single day, you'll never be able to commit or communicate with people with your artistry the way that you want. The only thing that I see that is distinctly different about me is I'm not afraid to die on a treadmill. You might have more talent than me. You might be smarter than me. You might be sexier than me. You might be all of those things you got on me in 9 categories. But if we get on the treadmill together, there's 2 things. You're getting off first, or I'm going to die. It's really that simple. You're not going to outwork me. It's such a simple concept. The majority of people who aren't getting to places they want or aren't achieving the things that they want, it's strictly based on being outworked and missing crucial opportunities. I say all the time, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. I'm going to pause there for a second in that interview, and I just wanted to chat about a couple of the things that we pulled out in our peak performance training that we do. One of them is pretty simple, and we love this. We have it playing in our studio constantly. It's a quote that we have his voice saying in the studio all the time for our dancers. And that's the part where he said, the separation of talent and skill is one of the greatest misunderstood concepts. And I think that's so true. I get so many wonderfully talented athletes. I've been privileged to work with a lot of them through the years, and over the last 37 years of coaching and teaching and working with really high-level athletes, I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of talented people. And they come in the door, and oftentimes by the time they get to me, they're more serious and they're more intent on working on what they want to do, and they have a path. But a lot of them come in with tons of talent. And when they do, they think that that talent is the thing that's going to carry them. And it's really amazing to me because I can see it. I can see it in their eyes. They've got this diamond gleam in their eyes that they're ready to go and they're ready to work hard. And they think their talent is going to carry them the whole way. And then I will periodically take on some clients that don't quite have the same talent as some of the others that come to me. And I do it on purpose because I want to prove that hard work will beat talent when talent doesn't work hard. And that's an old quote, and we've heard that before, but it's so true. When talented people come in and they think that they're going to get to the end of the goal and the end of the path and make their dreams come true based off of just their talent, well, it's not going to be enough. There's so many people that are talented at so many things these days that now it is about working hard. And when you go in and work hard, combined with your talent, man, you have a great, great asset. But I'll tell you what, in many instances, I see on a regular basis, no matter who I'm working with, whether it's an athlete or whether it's a business person, oftentimes the most talented are not the ones that are the most successful. In many instances, sometimes we take for granted our talent. We go in, we use our talent for what it is that we're good at, and we go, we're bored with that. Let's go do something that we're not talented at. And we tend to have a tendency of doing that on a regular basis. We go after these things and we realize the things that we're talented at, but we go, oh yeah, that's boring to us because we're already talented at it. And so what I suggest is maybe thinking about what it is that you're talented at, what it is that you're working hard at, and look at those 2 things. Now, you don't have to be the most talented, but you do have to decide if you're going to commit and if you're going to work harder than everybody else. And that's a big thing. You know, his statement back here, and it's a funny statement, especially when you hear the interview. It's kind of hilarious because he kind of catches you off guard. But he does talk about this one little moment. He says, the only thing that I see different, or that I see that is distinctly different about me, is I'm not afraid to die on a treadmill. Now, when you first hear him say this in the interview, it's freaking hilarious. And Will Smith is a bit of a comedian, and so you can hear the humor in it, but he is dead serious. Next, he says, you might have more talent than me, you might be smarter than me, you might be sexier than me, you might be all of those things, and you might have me in 9 categories. But if we get on a treadmill together, there's 2 things. You're getting off first, or I'm going to die. And that's the competitive nature within him. And no matter what it is that you're trying to excel at, you should consider and think about whether you're willing to put in the work so that when you're saying that you're competitive, that you're going to die trying. Now that sounds a bit extreme, but think about it for a second. Every one of the high-level athletes, high performers in business, every single one of them that have been successful, all have a very similar mentality, a certain delusional quality about them, and we'll talk about that when we read about it a little bit more later on. But the idea really is simple. You've got to commit. You've got to get in, and you've got to have this ridiculous, sickening work ethic. And for those of you that have attained something really great, you know that in that moment of attaining that thing that was really great, that it wasn't about that moment, it was about all the hours and all the time and all the effort that you put in to get to that moment that was really great. And it was a ridiculous, sickening work ethic. And that's it. Talent you have naturally. Skill is only developed by hours and hours and hours of beating on your craft. And so ask yourself this: have you put in the hours? Or are you ready to put in the hours? Is it time? Is it your turn? Because at some point in your life, whether it's already happened, whether it's about to happen right now, or whether it's going to happen, you're going to need to make the decision to put in hours and hours and hours of beating on your craft so that you can be the most skilled at what you're doing. And if you do that, you're going to find success. It will find its way to you, whether you like it or not. And so that's what we're after. Anyway, this is a great start. We're gonna go into some more of this interview in the next podcast, but I thought we'd start with that today, and hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next podcast.
Are you loving Magic for Life? Please like and share our podcast on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Want more magic for your life? Join me for some great Facebook Lives on the official Facebook page at Michael A. Johnson Official.